Hey friends, welcome back to Llama Mama Kayla's crochet vlog / yarn tube. I've always called this like a yarn tube, like the embroidery people or cross stitch people, they will call it a floss tube. And so I kind of came up with the idea of yarn tube from that years ago. So I've always said yarn tube, but you know, my videos are kind of like crochet life vlog, so it's a crochet vlog, life vlog, all mixed together. So that's what my channel is. And so anyway, today we have the Woobles haunted house, and we're going to be opening the next box in it. And so I'm going to open it up, and we're going to be going over what I have made so far from this box or from a package, and just reminiscing and chatting and looking what I've done. But thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I appreciate you all so much, and I'm just so happy you're here. I enjoy visiting with you all so much, and I love reading your comments, so drop me a comment down there and tell me what's going on in your life. Okay, so we have the Woobles haunted house box here, and so I'm going to open it. All right. So we have it open. It's not the easiest to open with my little thumbs. Anyway, so what we've made so far, we made, and I don't know if I'm saying them in the right order or not, but we have made a moon, the mummy. And I'm not even going to try to do them in order because I can't really remember, okay? We did Steve the Frankenstein, but he was not a kit from this box. He was an individual bag because that day I opened something that wasn't much to it, so I wanted to do a Wooble, and so I did Steve the Frankenstein. We've done Agatha the vampire. She's a little bit bossy over here, and when I get that bun on her head she might calm down a little bit, but I'm working on her bun. But I just got to get going with it. And then let's see. Oh, we had a roll of toilet paper. We'll put that over by Agatha because she might decide to go roll that witch's house in West Monroe, and she needs some toilet paper to go roll her house. And then, okay, I've done Luna in the past, so Luna is here just to support her friends, and Luna did get a baby out of this deal. So we have Luna and Luna Bale. She was in box 2 maybe, or 3, I can't remember. And then I've done Howl the pumpkin, and he was a bag exclusive from Barnes & Noble. So that's what we have done so far this month. I think that's all. I was trying to look around and see. So that's what we've done so far, and keep in mind Steve, Hal, and Luna was not included in this. And I also received a bag, a little like Halloween orange tote bag in one. So anyway, we are going to move these over a little bit so that, Luna, don't forget your baby. I ain't babysitting. Move these over a little bit because I think we're opening box 6. So need a little bit of room to work. Might need a little room to get this out. So I have not looked at the boxes prior to this. I'm only opening the boxes when I do a video, so I don't know what's in each day's box, and that's so exciting for me. Like, I can't ever wait to open another box. I'm always like, oh my gosh, let's open a box. But I like the surprise. I like that I'm seeing it for the first time with some of you guys. Some of you guys might have already watched other people's videos who opened them all in one day and stuff like that, but I wanted the surprise because you know, let's face it, I ain't got a lot to look forward to in this world. And so opening these boxes and getting a cute little surprise out of them and working on that is exciting for me. Okay, so this is box 6, and there's spiders on it right there. It's a pumpkin vase on it. So let's see what's in it. And the whole box looks like a pumpkin. Let's see, box 3 was a pumpkin also. Oh, this is a glow in the dark. Oh my goodness. a glow-in-the-dark spider. It's a tiny spider, but it does have a lot of black on it. Let's see. It glows in the dark. That's cool. That's cool. Let me just look and see. What are we going to do here? Because I'll have to look and see if you start with the black head or if you're finishing with the black head. If you start with the rear and it's of a different color, I might can pull that off a lot easier. But let's just look and see what is in here. So, ooh, pretty. So we have this bright, bright yellow that's going to glow in the dark and be gorgeous. We have some black yarn. And we have, let's see, we have, ooh, some white stuffing. Uh-oh. And some white yarn. And that's what we have in this little bag. And I dropped my card that's going to tell the pattern code. Oh my gosh, oh gosh. Hope my head wasn't all up in the way, but it might have been. You might have saw my bald spot. So we're gonna make this tiny spider, and there is a little code on the back. So I'm gonna have to look on there and see if we start with the head or if we start with the rear. I hope we start with the rear. That would be a lot better for me as a crocheter that can't see black yarn. I know a lot of you guys are in the same boat. We all in the same boat with this. So he don't look like he would be hard to make other than the black yarn. Really and truly. So I'm gonna have to look at that and see what we start with. Well, unfortunately, the spider does start with the black yarn. Does anybody want to boo-hoo with me over that? Boo-hoo. I wanted it to start with the butt of it and then work its way to the head, but it doesn't do that. That's a shame. It really is. Uh-oh, sorry. I hit you with the house. So, anyway, gotta just set my desk up here. Let's see. Let's put everybody back over this way so I have room to crochet. Luna, better get your baby and get over there. And let's see, Fred needs to go somewhere, and the jack-o'-lantern, Hal, can go there. Agatha, hold on to that toilet paper. And let's see, I'm going to put Fred right back here. And Henry can stand back up here. Alright, and then the bluebird is JJ. Alright. So I gotta crochet this tiny spider with the black yarn. It's 4 rows of black yarn before I switch to that neon yellow glow in the dark. Can I do it? Yes, I can. I can. I'm just gonna, take my time, use this magnifying glass rather than trying to hold it for the camera. I'm gonna heavily use my magnifying glass over here, right here, and just hold it, have it right in front of my face and try to do it. That's the only way I was able to do it the time before. So I'll get it done. It's just going to take some work and a lot of eye straining. But no, I don't enjoy using the black yarn at all. And for me, it's hard to start a project no matter what the color is, because there's nothing to hold on to, like pinch up in my hand as I'm trying to hold yarn and crochet and hold the project. Once the project gets going, I'm better at it. I can, actually crochet without getting so frustrated and, looking crazy. But to get a project going, it's very frustrating and difficult for me. And, But once I get going, I'll go pretty good with this yarn here, with the tube yarn. Now, if I was using 4-weight yarn that can split, it would be splitting on me like every stitch, every 4 or 5 times, redoing that stitch, and it's splitting and having to redo it and redo it. That is not fun. So that is why I do love my Wooble yarn so much. Okay, and on this black yarn, I have to put a stitch marker in my first stitch, or I will not be able to find it. So I'm going to try to get my first stitch in here. Okay, that is stitch number 1. And I'm going to put a stitch marker in that. If I could even see it. I can't even see it even with the magnifying glass. This is aggravating. I think I might have it in the first stitch. I'm not really sure, to be honest. Really, I need a stitch marker in every stitch with this black yarn to get started, because it's just so hard to see where the next stitch is. But once I get going, it gets a little easier, I guess. But, it does give me, and then I can't remember how many I've counted, how many I've done. I lost my count. 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm gonna say. So that was fun, opening box 6. Now we know what's in it. It's a tiny spider. Oh, I forgot to look for box 7. I was gonna just look at it to see what shape box it was and maybe get an idea of what was coming up. Now, I put a stitch marker in my last stitch of the row because that's just the way I do it, and I'm not changing now. But everybody else can put one in their first if that's what you like to do. I'm just putting it in mine because that's the way I crochet. We don't have to crochet the same. We can do things differently. Like, I'm sure I hold my yarn different and all that kind of stuff too. Okay, so as far as I can tell, that is the last one. Whew. Yeah, here I am. Here I go. Alright guys, so I'm going to crochet on this, and I'm just going to exclusively use this to try to get this, you know, crocheted the head. Then I'll be changing to the other color. And the legs, oh my gosh, I hope those are just a chain or something. There ain't no way I'm going to crochet tiny little tubes. So hopefully it is just a crochet and slip stitch or something. I haven't looked at the pattern, but that's what I'll probably do if it calls for. I'm just going to take a peek to know if I got to make up something on my own for the legs, because there's no way I'm trying to do a tube that tiny. You make each individual leg. Oh no. I know what I'm doing anyway. Wait, what? Oh no, you don't make them each individual. Okay, I got it. I see what it's doing now. So I don't know if you're going to make all 8 at one time, or if you make 4 and 4. I didn't read that far into the directions, but I will. Yeah, I will. Before I do them, of course. Alright guys, so I'm gonna crochet for a little bit and I'll be back in to check with you and let you know how far I've gotten. Okay, so Paige, my sitter, is here and she's gonna help me do my tube stuff. So that's what's gonna come up for next little bit, and then we'll go back to crocheting. So Paige is going to clean around my tube and change the dressing around that. You can see it just gets really nasty real fast. It gets changed like multiple times a day. It's a little red, but not too bad. So Paige is going to wipe that up and put some medication on it. And she's very gentle because it is very sore and painful. Ever since I got the button put in, it still has been traumatized since then. It just hurts. It hurts on that side around my tube, and then on the other side where I got my pump refill is still very uncomfortable and sore. So kind of hurting on both sides there. But now Paige is gonna, she's pointing out, you know, I had a red spot way down here that maybe some of the stomach acids drained down there and is getting that red. I felt that it was something going on there, but I can't really see over my boob, to be honest. Like, I couldn't do all this myself because I couldn't even see it. And so Paige is putting medicine around it to keep that, you know, to heal up and everything and keep it from getting worse. That's the main thing. But she puts a generous amount on there all the way around because that pad will be wet and nasty in no time. And then we have split gauze that goes on it, and it's got to go up under both sides. Oh, she's putting some powder on. The powder, sometimes it gets real itchy, and that could be yeast. And so the powder is for yeast, and that's an expensive little powder. It's like $10 for a tiny little bottle of it. You know, when you're shaking baby powder, you just shake, shake, shake. When you're because it's only like $2 or $3 for a big huge bottle of it. But when you're shaking that antifungal powder for yeast infections and it's $10 a bottle, you just barely sprinkle that stuff. I get tickled at myself how careful I am with that powder versus if it was just like some regular baby powder, which I don't use. I only use the antifungal powder. So she got the gauze up under there, and sometimes it's a struggle to get it up under both sides of that. And so Paige still isn't used to my new button either. I'm not used to it, and Paige is not quite used to it either. And sometimes we both our heads working together can't figure stuff out sometimes. I can't see, so I'm just kind of feeling of it and pointing and telling her like what I think. And so she's like, "Oh, okay, I see that." Because it's clear, so it's hard to see, right? So now she is going to try to put meds in, and instead of using the extension tube, we're just trying to put it straight into the button. And so some of the meds will go in easily, some of them clog up and won't go through, and it's aggravating sometimes, you know, and Paige just has to keep trying, and together we just kind of figure it out. And she is going slow because it is going into the duodenum. You know, like I said, that doesn't stretch like a stomach, and so you can only put so much in at a time. But my body is not used to that, and so when we get much medicine in the duodenum, I start feeling really sick, just real ill feeling. Not necessarily nauseated feeling, but it's just oh my gosh, I feel sick. And very, very ill. Like, and so we're trying to take that slow and not put all the meds in at one time. We're kind of spacing them out. So I usually have about 8 to 10 syringes. So I don't know how many I filmed today, but at some points it was just, just a repeat of putting more medicine in. So I might not have filmed every time she put syringes in. But that is what my new button looks like. It's a button on the front, and then there's a side piece there on the side of it. And there's Sassy, like, trying to tell me that she needs up there to lay down. She's wanting me to lay back and put my feet up so she can get on into the chair. My feet are still swollen, but they are a bit better than they were yesterday. Like, I couldn't even move them like that yesterday, and I can today. And I'll show you a picture of what they looked like yesterday. We were looking for a soup that had the least amount of sodium, and this is what we found. It's by that same company that has that pepperoni pizza. But anyway, this is our proper good soup. It is the chili flavor one, and so Paige is going to heat that up for me and see how it is. Okay, so here is the soup. I can tell you right now, it doesn't look good, it doesn't smell good, and it don't taste good. It don't. It has big tomato base taste to it, and I'm not a fan of tomato base. And the pizza was too, but you kind of expect pizza to have a tomato taste to it, but I don't know. This chili was not. I will not be buying that again. It's Phoebe, just in case I had a little bit to give her. But there wasn't anything to give her. Yeah, I will not be buying this again. It did not taste that great to me. Now, if you like tomato flavor, you might like that. I don't know. So we're back to doing some more meds, and so Paige is trying to put those in. This might be the one that gets clogged up and gives us a lot of trouble. One of them did, and I can't remember if it was the first or the second one, but it gave us a lot of trouble and just kept getting clogged up. And Paige does these where when she gets here and has them in some hot water so that they can hopefully go in a little better. But yeah, this one was just not wanting to work. Paige is working on it, trying to pull it back and push it forward, and all the little tricks that we do. There's Sassy up there on top of my chair saying she's really wanting to get in my lap, but she's annoyed that we're busy and she just can't lay up on me right now. That's her annoyed look. So Paige is going to flush it a little bit and see if we can't get some meds to go on through. Get to a certain point and it just stops and it doesn't want to do anymore, but there's still a good bit of medicine in there. So those meds cost a lot of money to waste, so we're just trying to get them in, doing what we can. You can see that I take a lot of meds, and honestly, I couldn't do all that without Paige. Because first off, I can't even see it. And thankfully she can, and she's very gentle and just very helpful. Whew. So we're done for that little bit. And now a little bit more. I'd never be able to get all that done myself, really and truly. I'd never be able to get all that in. It takes 2 hours to do this. From the time Paige gets here till she leaves, she is tending to my meds and my tube feeding. And in between that, she usually heats me up some kind of soup, broth, or something like that. But right now, I'm trying not to do that because of the sodium. I'm trying not to, eat any sodium. Well, something high in sodium at least. That's how much meds just would not go in. It just said it was done and it wasn't accepting any more meds. Okay, so now Paige is trying to hook up my G-tube, and like I said, she nor I are quite used to this GJ tube button yet, and it's hard to get those tubes in there and get them locked in so they won't pull out. So she's finagling around with that, and sometimes it's hard. And those tubes are a hard steel plastic. They are not a rubber tube like my peg tube that I had hanging out of my stomach before. It was a rubber tube, a tubing. This is like a hard plastic. It has no movement in it whatsoever. I mean, when you clamp that clamp and release it, the tube stays closed. You have to take your fingers and push it on the sides and try to open up the little indentation that it makes. So Paige is trying to check my stomach and it is not working. She's having a time with it. It just doesn't want to work correctly. And I've asked on the Gastroparesis group, they all say that the GJ button does not drain as well as a peg tube does. And then on top of that, you got these awful plastic tubes that are just very, very annoying and not flexible at all. So Paige is giving it her all, and I'm just like telling her, well, let's just don't worry about it then. If it's not happening, it's not happening. And she's trying to get it done and not give up. Bless her heart. Looking on the tube to see if there any of those indentions need to be pushed out. You can kind of see those on there. They're just there. It's a mess. It is. I hate those tubes. I inquired about getting rubber ones, but I'm told that they're all made like that. And so Paige is going to give it another go because she's not ready to give up on it. I was ready to give up on it. Okay, so she's getting some out now. But not much. It didn't want to give much. She is struggling with it. She really is. I mean, she's trying her best to get that done, and it has just given her all kinds of fits. So I'm telling her, just don't worry about it. Just clamp it off and unplug and just put my drain bag on it. And if it drains, it drains. If it don't, it don't. But I need it to drain because I feel better when it drains. I get relief and I'm not hurting as bad in my abdomen and stomach area when it's draining. And the reflux is a lot better when it is draining. Oh, that's aggravating. But Paige is going to plug up a catheter bag to it. And I still have that on there right now. And it's drained a tiny bit. Not as much as it needs to. Not near about as much as it needs to. But it has drained a tiny bit. But this gives you a glimpse of a morning in my life, you know, that. And now Paige is getting the supplies together to give me my last 2 syringes of meds and hook up my formula and get it going. I had unhooked about 4 a.m. because I fought with that thing all night long trying to get to the restroom, and it was just a crazy mess. I had, had to change clothes and everything in the middle of the night a couple of times, and it's aggravating. It really, really is. So now, she's putting a formula in the feeding bag that's hanging up on the pole, and I'll try to get a little glimpse up there to show just pouring that formula in. And then I have a backup formula in the tray of my IV pole for later. When that one kind of gets low, I can add another one in. And Paige is trying to, she's doing the tubing and getting it into the pump. You have to run that tubing through your pump and all that kind of stuff. So that's what she was doing. And now I'm getting the last 2 syringes of meds. See how we spaced them out, like 2 and then 2 and 2 and 2. We kind of got a little space in there so it doesn't make me so ill that we can't finish the meds, because sometimes I just get so sick that I'm like, I just can't take any more. I can't take any more. I feel too bad. So spacing them out like this is a little bit better, but I still get that very ill, sick feeling. Having a chronic illness is a lot of work. It is, and I just don't know what I would do if I didn't have Paige, because I just can't do all that with my hands in particular. My hands don't work well doing all that stuff, and then where my feeding tube is, I can't even see it anyway. So Paige is going over, setting up my pump. She's about to learn that. I have to tell her, keep settings, then prime, auto prime. But she's getting it. She's getting all that. I usually do it, but since I was kind of laid back in my chair, she was just doing it. You can see the pump is going through. It's auto priming, and that means it sends the formula all the way to the end, and it'll dribble a little bit, so she has a little container there to let it dribble into it, and it didn't go all the way, so I'm going to prime it a little bit more. And after it dribbles into the container that the formula was in, now back up there again to hook the formula up. Hook that extension tube up. And so now you can see I have the 2 tubes, and then we have to mash run on the pump. And now just making sure everything is unclamped and running as it should. And the pump is running and not going to get clogged up, because sometimes after it's been a long morning already. Thank goodness this is a small project today. I worked on this morning. I worked on that black until I was so frustrated with it, but I got it. And I know I could have changed colors and did this any color other than black, but I really wanted the black with this yellow. And so I hung in there with it and redid it 500 times until I got it. But by golly, I got it. Really and truly, I was getting really frustrated with it. But somehow or another, I got it done. And I was totally using my magnifying glass the whole time, and I ended up, I could not see the little dang stitches. I ended up taking my needles and putting one in each stitch. I didn't want to put a stitch marker in each one because that's too tedious and too much trouble, opening and closing all those stitch markers and taking them out before each stitch. So I just took my little small needles. Actually, I took the one smaller than this, and I just put one in each one around, and that was hard to crochet around those needles, sticking all in the inside. It was, but it helped me be able to see the stitch and to see how many more was left, so I knew if I was on the right track and everything with my decreasing there that I had to do. So I don't know, it was just wild, but I got it done. That's what counts. And so now I've changed to the yellow, thankfully, and I'm just crocheting around on it. And I did mess up on my black. I'll go ahead and just tell you the truth. My second row, oh wait, let me see, what row was that? One of my second row, I did not do correct. I jumped to the third row, and so I just did the third row twice. I did the first row, the third row, and the third row, and then the fourth row. So that's what I did, and it's going to be okay. After I got those stitches in there and realized what I had done, I was like, I ain't taking them out. I worked hard though on those stitches. I worked way too hard to get those stitches in there, but it looks fine. It's I didn't even have to tell y'all that, but just wanted to be open with you. Sometimes you can make mistakes and you can just keep going and nobody will know because you're not on Facebook telling everybody like I did. So there. Paige came after I finished up that black and got to the yellow. Then Paige had came, and so I took some clips of us trying to do my medicine, and my button was acting up and getting clogged, and it didn't want to take the medicine, and the medicine is ground into a fine powder, but it's just too much. It's just too much of it, and so. And we divide that up between 2 syringes. But, and then, what else did we do? Oh, she fixed me that soup. That was not good. I couldn't eat it. I didn't eat it. Because it did not taste good to me. It was too tomatoey, and I just had it with tomato stuff. I've had reflux ever since I had that tomato gumbo mess in Arkansas. I don't know. I figured that yellow was going to bubble out a lot bigger than my black, but it did not, and I know I did those rows correctly. And now it's already time to decrease, and I just feel like that it didn't bubble out. I don't know. I don't know why it didn't bubble out. Let me make sure I'm on the right row. 6. It says I am. But on this row I had to count so I can decrease, and so it's gonna be hard to do that and talk. But anyway, she fixed me that chili. It was way too tomatoey, and I've already been refluxing so bad, and it didn't taste good, so I wasn't gonna force myself to eat it. But we were trying to find the soup in this house with the less sodium in it, the least amount of sodium, and that was it. It had the least amount of everything in this house, but it was nasty. It was. Ugh. I don't like tomato-based stuff, so somebody else might love it, but I did not. And then we did some more meds after that. We tried to break up the meds because, and I don't know what this is, but when you're putting meds in the duodenum, you know, that doesn't stretch like the stomach, and I have a lot of meds, so it makes me feel real sick to put after all those go in, especially if we do them all at one time. So we try to space them out just a little bit, just so it doesn't make me so sick so fast. It's not like makes me sick like I'm gonna throw up. It just makes me feel very ill, and just makes me just want to double over in the bed and just lay there and cramped up crying or something. It makes me feel very ill. So that we try to space those out now, and it helps a little bit, but maybe not all that much, because I still feel really ill. And so then we waited a little bit after that, and then we eventually got hooked up to my formula. We tried to drain some of my stomach so this reflux would stop, because my stomach's not draining in the drain tube. And so from what I have found out, it's the Mickey buttons, the G-tube Mickey buttons are just harder to drain than the G-tube danglers like I had before. And so it is a hassle trying to get this thing to drain. And so Paige tried to pull some out. You saw that. It was not successful. And then she finally, got me hooked up to formula and got it going before she left. And so, yeah, it's a lot. It really is. And I'm very thankful for Paige that she helps me get all that done, because I can't do that with my hands, and I can't even see my button. It's right up under my boob. It's so close up under my boob, I can't even see it. And I just sit here crocheting like I didn't, need to do anything special. So, pull some of these stitches out. Let me see if I got 5 stitches there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3. Maybe so. Who knows? I think it's 5 from what I can see. Sometimes neon yarn is hard to see just because it all kind of just blends together, I guess. The brightness of it, I don't know. But anyway, we got it done, and now I am crocheting a little bit, but I am really, really exhausted. I didn't sleep too well last night. I ended up, when Big Daddy had came through to go to the restroom about 4 a.m., I was like, just unhook me. I had been fighting going to the bathroom all night long, because of course that's when my LASIK decided to take effect. And so I was fighting, trying to make it to the bathroom all night, and I was just aggravated and just had enough of it. enough. So Big Daddy had got up to go to the restroom, and he came back. I let him make it to the bathroom first. When he came back, I was like, just unhook me, unplug me, just whatever. And so he did. And then he went on to bed, back to bed, and I tried. I had to get up and find me some pajamas, some more clothes and stuff. Now I am just crocheting away on this little bitty spider. Like I said, I thought his stomach area, this yellow part, was going to poof up a lot bigger. And just for some reason, it did not. Now, I'm looking back at the pattern right now. I've done all those increases. I've done the increases on those rows. So I don't know why it did not puff up more. Like it should be bigger than the black up here. Even with the little mistake I made and ran with it, it should still be bigger than that part. Okay. Now it's wanting me to stuff the piece. So we'll see. We'll see how that works. It might puff it out some. Ugh. Okay. And last night, Paige witnessed a shooting. How scary is that? And so they were going down the road, her and her husband. She was driving. I'm not sure if he doesn't drive. Well, he does drive. Anyway, she was driving, and she heard what she thought to be fireworks. And it was like pop, 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 pop. I mean, and then she stopped at the red light, and the car in front of her, a lady got out of the car and got a child out of the back seat, and the child was just limp in her arms, and the lady screaming help, and Paige goes to get out of the car, but her husband grabs her and says, because she put it in park and took off her seatbelt and was getting out, and her husband grabbed her arm and said, put it in drive and go, run the red light and go. He said, don't you get out there and get shot. And Paige has no medical education or experience, so I even asked her, what would you have done? And she said, I don't know. I was just getting out because the lady was hollering help. And so her husband's like, there's nothing you can do except we can call 911. So they did call 911, and the 911 said that they were getting a lot of reports that, you know, their police were on their way. Oh, look what I done. And so anyway, still today we can't find anything about it. We're looking on Facebook trying to find out, like, what happened. Someone said that was next to Paige, like Paige wasn't paying attention to vehicles around her because, you know, she didn't know she needed to be. She just heard pop, 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 and her husband thinks it was about 10 shots. Some people are saying 10 to 15 online. But anyway, they heard about 10 shots, and she thought she saw smoke coming out from under the hood of the car in front of her, but she's not really sure. Like, it all happened so fast, she ain't even sure what she saw. The car that was beside her said that there was a black car that took off and ran the red light. that they were the shooters, but that hasn't been confirmed. So nobody really knows. And so Paige had, I don't know, on this thread that was on Facebook, the car that was next to Paige, and Paige, realized that they were the ones that there at the red light. And so that person, they ended up messaging each other. So anyway, that's scary. And Paige says she didn't sleep last night. She just couldn't get the image of the lady holding the child out of her head. And she feels so bad. But, I even asked her, and her husband did too, like, what could you have done to help them? Because, she doesn't have any kind of medical training. She helps me, but she's a sitter. She's not a nurse. And so she doesn't have medical training to, like, assist anyone like that. And so her husband was more concerned about who did the shooting. Were they still there? Were they going to shoot Paige for trying to help? Like, what was happening? He was thinking that maybe a person in the car did the shooting. Like maybe there was a domestic violence and the person in the car shot the kid in the back seat. But he was just thinking that because it all happened so fast. They didn't know what happened. And so anyway, Paige is pretty shook about it. And her husband was just trying to keep her safe. I can see that. I can see Paige just wanted to help, even though she didn't know what she would have done. So anyway, she was pretty shook today, and she says she didn't sleep last night because she was just worried about what happened. So we're still trying to find out information about that. This thing right here, it's a little bit tedious. It is a little tedious, but we'll get it done. But I still think the yellow should have puffed up more. But I'm going to try to add a little more stuffing. I didn't want to add too much right now because I didn't want to crochet and pull all that stuffing out. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Okay. Now I'm going to leave a tail to close that. But before I close it, I am going to stick the rest of the stuffing in there. Okay, now I need to find a needle. I'm looking for a certain needle, and I don't see it. Oh, it's in my bag. I haven't emptied all my bags yet. Just haven't felt like emptying my bags just yet. Although I did search and search and search for syringes. We took my meds and the syringes and stuff for the weekend, but then I could not find them. I looked and looked, and I asked Big Dad, I was like, did you throw those syringes away? He's like, no. And I was like, well, where did you put them? He's like, I don't know, but I know I didn't throw them away. And so I had searched and searched and searched, trying to find these syringes. I could not find them. And so finally, this morning, Paige needed them. She needed them yesterday. And we didn't have enough syringes to go around. And so she was having to use like 2 syringes over and over and over. And it's just easier to make up all the syringes and then give them, you know. So anyway, this morning I was like trying my best just to find those syringes for her, so she'd have it, you know, wouldn't be so difficult in what she was having to do. And I finally picked up my backpack, pump backpack, and there they were. I felt something in the bag, in a pocket. I was like, what is in that pocket? And I felt, and I was like, that's those syringes. So we found the syringes. Big Daddy didn't throw them away. I'm sorry, I accused him of throwing them away. I really thought he did, because I was like, where could they be? It's a lot to keep up with. A lot to do, a lot to keep up with, a lot to keep straight, and keep all that, you know, keep all that stuff situated, and it's a lot to pack, all that. Alright, so here is my little misshapen rear spider. He is a little bit misshapen back there. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Whew, my dang busted spider took off. So, again, I wasn't able to eat that chili. I just ate a couple tiny little taste bites of it, not even full of spoons, just tasting it. I couldn't do it. So anyway, I had to get a snack. So I got the freeze-dried bananas and the strawberries, and I was going to show you what these look like. Here's the banana. They're freeze-dried, and they just melt in your mouth. They just kind of disappear. And this is a strawberry. I want to tell y'all, these have a lot of flavor. Okay, that's a strawberry, and you get a mouthful of strawberry. The banana one is okay. Yeah, I can't eat a regular banana, even mashed up. I don't know why I can't get a banana down. Even mashing it up to, you know, baby consistency, I cannot get it down. But I can get the freeze-dried banana down because it just kind of melts away. And the same with the strawberry. It's just going to melt away. But you see how that is just is? But it just has a lot of flavor in that. It's like a party going on in that mouth. Okay, I'm working on my spider's legs. They're not hard to do. It just takes a little time, and they're not fun to do with this black yarn. They're not fun, but I got one set done, so you know what? I need to leave that one a little bit bigger because it's hard to see that first chain when you come back down the row. It's hard to know where your first chain was, so I'm going to leave that loop a little bigger. It is thundering outside, like rolling thunder. The sun is shining bright. I just asked the little person that lives on top of my desk if it was going to rain, and she said maybe. She said it might this afternoon. So I guess we're getting a little afternoon rain shower. That's okay. I feel like I've already done enough, but I'm not doing this online. I mean, on film. I'm gonna turn the camera off. I just didn't want to give away, much of their pattern. Okay, so this part is for Eva. I can't figure this out. It took me forever to get this part out of here. I'm not going to put it back in because it took me forever to get it back to get it out. I finally got that out, but then my gun doesn't fit in here. The gun's not charged. I don't know. The gun don't fit in here. And I know you put it in there the other day. So, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But I'm doing something wrong, obviously, huh? Obviously, I'm doing it wrong. You have to mash these sides in to get it out of that. I like to never got it out. But I don't see where the gun is supposed to fit. This fits in there, but the gun don't fit in there. I don't know. I'm doing something wrong. Was there a piece that fits on this? I don't know. This is all I saw. I have no idea what I'm doing. Obviously, you can tell that. Okay, so that lights up. I don't know. Am I supposed to mash these buttons? But still, this has got to go in something for this to heat up to melt the glue. So Eva, tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I don't know. So, I've got my old trusty back. I don't know. I really want to use the other one, but I can't figure it out. But Eva can tell me what I was doing wrong when she sees this video. Because I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Let me get this set up with another glue gun shooting behind, a glue stick right behind it. I'm a little stressed today and I'm just aggravated. There's always certain people who can't get it that I'm sick. I'm barely doing what I can do each day. I barely can do this, what I'm doing, Like this consists of my whole day. Tending to my tube, feeding pump, crocheting a little bit to make a video, and then repeat, okay? It's all repeat. It's not, I'm not sitting around trying to think, what can I do next? What can I do next? This takes it all. And I'll go sit down in my chair and crash when I'm just so wore out, which I'm gonna do as soon as I finish crocheting this. But there's just certain people who just think that you can do whatever they want you to do right then. And it's aggravating. It is aggravating. And I'm just like, I am barely getting by doing the tiny bit that I'm doing. It looks like nothing to you is my full day for me. Anyway, I don't know why that's so hard to understand. So I think my spider's gonna go something like this. I think I'm just gonna glue those on the side, on each side, and then I gotta do something about some eyes. I hadn't got to that part. I just made the legs. The eye embroidery. I'm using this white yarn. I wonder if this yarn glows in the dark. Okay. Maybe something about like that. I don't know. I don't want to do too much yarn. I don't want to waste too much of it, but I'd rather have a little bit too much than not enough, right? Give me a banana chip. Okay, I'm not going to put the eyes until after I do the legs, because the eyes can be put anywhere. That's all I gotta do. Let's put these legs on. Let me get them positioned kind of right. I feel like I better use this. Okay. Okay. Don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to put some glue there, and then I'm going to take this spider. I was trying to see where, okay, what I want that part on the bottom. So I'm going to take this, put some glue there, and then I'm going to put this kind of on it. And I hope I can see what I'm doing well enough here. Okay. Same thing for this. Let me let that dry just a little. Cool off and get hard. Okay. Now, let's see if I can hold all four of these legs back. I also don't want to burn my thumb. Stay down. Okay. maybe that will work. I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna put Hal's stem on, because I never did put that on yet. I was waiting until I used the glue gun again. Actually, I was gonna use my other one, the new one that Eva gave me, and I'm sorry I'm too stupid to figure that out. Okay, so there is my spider's 4 legs and 4 legs. And actually this part does need to be kind of glued in there, so I'm gonna do it from the bottom. Maybe I'm gonna put some glue right here and kind of close up this hole and just hold it there for 1 second. Alright, now that's still got to dry for just a second, but now I gotta figure out these eyes. Come on now, I can do this. I gotta go get my yarn that I took with me this weekend. That bag is still packed. I still have a lot of bags packed and stuff just piled on the table where I was digging through bags trying to find certain things I needed. All right. Oh gosh. Okay, let me see if I can figure out where this is gonna go on top, I guess. Okay, I'm through with the glue gun, so unplug it. All right, here and here maybe. Man, my feet hurt. I'm just sitting at this desk. I'm not, like standing up on them or anything. Oh, God. Okay, let's see if I can come out this hole. I did double my yarn so that this would be a little thicker. Uh-oh. All right. Now I'll pull this through over here. I'm not following directions. I'm just making some eyes, okay? I'm not good at following directions on these type of things. When it comes to putting the eyes and stuff like that on, I'm not good at following that. Okay, and I'm gonna come out the same hole at the bottom, hopefully. Yes. Okay, and I don't want to, I don't want to lose my eyes, so I'm going to pull this yarn up. And I'm going to stick a needle right here. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, just so the I don't lose this yarn down deep into the black. I mean, I can pull it back out, but why put more work on myself, right? So now I got these 4 strands down here because my yarn was doubled. So I'm going to take 2 and 2, and I'm going to tie them in a knot. Okay. I'm gonna clip these and just try to poke this down in the head because I'm a little bit done. I'm hurting and I just need to get to my chair and take a little rest, probably a nap. All right, see, that just hides right up in that. And then I can pull these out and it still has like the eyes, you know. So my little spider is done. His little legs come out really well for feeling like I was crocheting blind. They turned out really well. So I have, oh, did the spider have a name? Tiny spider. No, it just says teeny tiny spider. We'll call him Teeny or Tiny. Teeny. Teeny tiny. Teeny tiny spider. I don't know. So there's a spider. He turned out really, really good. I think for, you know, a little small quick project. And using black yarn when you can't even see it. What you guys think? Let me see. I might can put him on a stick. Yeah, and then you can see him a little better probably without my hand covering half of him because he's just so little. I say he's little. He's, well, he's about 2.5 inches long. So he's not really tiny, teeny tiny, but there we go. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all so very much. I enjoy spending my time with you all. And I'm going to call it a day, okay? I am. I'm fixing to go kick back in my recliner with something to drink beside me and just nap and snooze the rest of the day. And I'll see you all in the next video, my friends. Love you all. Remember, it's a beautiful day to crochet.